Hello, this is Sabretooth at Nethemba, where we care about your security. This is a brand new YouTube channel. My name is Ian. I'm a senior pen tester at Nethemba.com. We are an international pen test company who is based in Slovakia. We have customers from all over the world. We have team members from all over the world. I myself am based in the UK. I work remotely and my speciality is web app pen tests. However, I can do pretty much everything. Many things, let's say. Not everything. Okay, this channel really is to demonstrate some of our skills and some of my personal skills on sites such as tryhackme.com, which you see here, and Hack the Box. You'll see that I've got a 2-day streak because quite literally I just did the introductory room just to get set up. I'm not going to be choosing the easiest boxes. I'll be going for some of the harder ones, at least according to the site. However, I will try and explain things as much as I can in beginner's terms without going too into the basics of how computers work, you know. And see what comes of this. Okay, I've been told that a good starting place is actually a box called Daily Bugle. So we can go to Rooms. Excuse my throat at the minute. We can order by difficulty or show boxes by difficulty. What I'm actually going to do is run a search for Daily Bug. And we'll see Daily Bugle here, rated hard. I'm not going to read any of the hints here at all. So we're going to join the room. And we will see here already it's asking us questions. Access the web server, who robbed the bank, and so on. I don't want to read too many of the questions ahead of time in case it gives me spoilers. So let's start the system which we need to hack into. I need to make sure that I'm connected to TryHackMe's server. So for this we are using OpenVPN. And once we are connected, you'll see here that it says initialization sequence completed. So that can stay open. Okay, so we'll see that in about 30 seconds, we're going to get the IP address of the target which we need to hack. The box itself will expire in 2 hours. We can always extend that by an hour if we are running out of time. If there's a lot of scanning, a lot of brute forcing, etc., then that might be the case. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is when we, first thing we do on a system is run nmap, and nmap scans all 65,535 ports which exist on a system. Ports could be either open or closed. If they are open, there are likely services running on them, which we can interact with perhaps, and this may be, we may be able to find a way into the system. So we're going to do T, which is a TCP scan. This is what I use as default. And this P flag here shows that we're scanning all 65,000 etc. ports. The IP address is this. So this is going in straight off. And it's always good to have a note-taking app open, whether it uses Notepad or something similar. I've got this in Cherry Tree, TryHackMe hard. Let's do a new subnode called Daily Bugle, and in there I can put any findings which we have. So you're going to have to excuse my losing my voice. I've been quite ill recently, but I still am. But that's by the by. Let's see. Now, during an nmap scan, you can press any key here, and you'll see that there's like 5 minutes remaining, which is a little bit crazy. It's going to take quite a while, I think. So, because this is going to take a while, what we can do is we can take the IP address and just try looking for common open ports. For example, HTTP, it means it's website running, or HTTPS means it's a secure website running. Let us put this to the web browser. Let's HTTP. Okay, there's a website running, so port 80, which is the HTTP port, will be open when this scan completes. Okay, good. We have a website. Spider-Man robs bank. We can already answer our first question. Who robbed the bank? We're not doing that just yet. So we can see that it's written by super user. This may be a username. So web on port 80 shows super user as a possible username. Not recommended to do this, but we can just try putting in super user as a username and password, see if we can log in. It's always worth trying these things. And admin as a password. And password as a password. And at that point, I think I'm kind of done with guessing. Guessing passwords like this is not normally the way to go. If we do require to guess passwords, we can use a tool such as Hydra, which can brute force a list of passwords. We don't have to do this manually. Making a note of all the things here in the URL. We've got an item ID 101. We've got login view that's showing the login page. If I change login to register, maybe there's a registration page, but there actually isn't. But it was worth a try. It's worth a try. So what I'm going to do is search for robots.txt. What robots.txt is... it's a list of directories and files which crawlers such as Google and Bing and etc. are not allowed to access. So these are all quite, I'd say they're quite secure. I don't mean that. I mean they are hidden from web crawlers. The few things I do know about this box to start with is that I know that there's an exploit which involves FPM, and I did a bit of a Google search earlier. I made sure that FPM is probably not on my, whether it was on my system or not. I didn't want to go too deep into this. I just wanted to make sure this was a decent starting box. Somebody said it was, and by the looks of it, it is, but I don't really know how it works. I'm going to go administrator and see if this directory actually does exist here, which it does. So we have Joomla. That was also shown in the robots.txt if the Joomla site is installed. So Joomla is our framework, which the website is built upon. So that could be quite useful to know. Again, we're going to go super user and put that in as a password as well. We're going to go super user admin. We're going to go super user password. Okay, so we can't get into the admin area easily either. How's our port scan doing? It's done 58%, so it is getting there. It's taking some time. What do we do at this point? We can try a few more of these. So installation is sometimes a good one, because if you can find the installation files, you may be able to reinstall this Joomla site and set your own password and so on. As it happens, that doesn't exist. We've got logs, we've got temp, so let's take a look at these. Okay, the temporary directory does exist, but it doesn't show us anything. So that's not really useful. One thing I will say, by the way, before I continue, is if I start doing memory intensive things like brute force attacks, scans or so on, my webcam may just lag slightly because I'm doing everything from one system. So as long as you can hear me and see what I'm doing, that's not a big problem. I'll sort it out for future videos. Okay, I think at this point what I'm going to do is I'm going to run dirb, which is a directory brute forcer. Directory brute forcer. And you literally just put in the web address and it runs through this word list of common files and folders, as you can see, and any which it finds, it should find administrator. There it is, administrator. Any which it finds, it lets me know that it exists. So it's worthwhile doing this. What will eventually happen is it'll also go inside the administrator directory and keep searching for others within there. So we have bin, we've got cache. Cache could be useful. It might not be, but let's take a look. No, we've not got anything here which we can use, which is unfortunate. CGI bin, components. Okay. So this is now 75% on the port scan. We are literally at this point just waiting for this and seeing what happens if there's anything here. What we can do as well, and next thing we can do is look on SearchSploit. What SearchSploit is, it's a local version of a database which is run by exploitdb.com. It's run by Offensive Security. And this contains a list of public exploits. So if we look for Joomla on SearchSploit, you will find there is lots and lots and lots of entries. And so it's kind of impossible to know which of these we should use, if any. So at the minute, this is a dead end. There is also a scanner specifically for Joomla. So what we're going to do is go into my tools directory and then into JoomScan. We're going to run this with JoomScan, and it says to do JoomScan -u, which is the showing that it's going to accept a URL. And then it takes the web address, which in our case is the IP address, and it scans for any vulnerabilities. Always useful. Okay, we have Joomla version 3.7.0. We have directory listings here, could be useful. We have the robots.txt containing all this. We know about this as well. It's found the administrator directory. That's fine. We know about that as well. Let's just leave this to run. Backup files not found. Error log is not found. And config files are not found. That is literally it. The only real thing that we've got from here is the version, Joomla 3.7.0. So we will put this in JoomScan shows 3.7.0. There we have it. Okay, so let's see if anything else is complete. Very close to being. That's still going. It's now inside the administrator directory and it's scanning within there to see if we can find anything else. What we could do now is run SearchSploit again. And this time put in the version number because we know it, 3.7.0. And that should round it down. Oh, there's only 2. And this one is a direct match by the looks of this. Excuse me. So we have the com fields SQL injection. So SQL injection is injection into a database. And if you're able to inject into a database, you should be able to pull records such as usernames, passwords, and things which could be useful to get into the website. Or in some cases, you can even add to the database your own entries as well. So in doing that, you can see that it's got the local file on my system. But if we run this again with a www flag, you can see we've now got the URL, which is 42033. Now, before I use this, let me show you this. Exploit DB. What we can do is go to Joomla 3.7.0. And you will find this exact same one with the exact same URL, 42033. So you can either do it this way. You can either do it this way or you can use SearchSploit. Either way, you end up with the same result. Okay. So I don't know whether this is going to work or not, but this is the best option. Let's see what's happening. Okay, our port scan is complete. So it shows that there are 65532 closed ports. Only 3 are actually open. Okay. So let's make a note of this. What am I doing? That was ridiculous. we'll make a note of this here. So port 80 is open. This is the HTTP web server, and we've already seen that. 3306 is the MySQL database. So we're talking about SQL injection. We've got MySQL. Fine. So if there are any usernames and passwords used by the website, they may be stored in this database. And then we have SSH on port 22. SSH is secure shell. Let me show you how this works. We are going to go SSH. We're going to put in a username, for example, sabretooth, and then the IP address of our target. We're going to try and connect to it using SSH. What it's going to say is it's going to ask for the password of sabretooth. Obviously that doesn't exist. Still doesn't exist. You get 3 attempts and then it should kick you out. Yeah, absolutely. So SSH is not useful at this point. Could be useful later. This is still running. I'm not sure how useful this is going to be, but we'll leave it running. There's no harm in that. Okay, and at this point, I guess the next step would be to try this exploit. So we can download the exploit and run it from our local system, or we can read it and see what it's about. It's quite a short one, which is quite nice. So the vulnerable URL or web address is http whatever the IP address is, index php option com fields, view fields, layout, modal, list, full ordering, update XML. Okay. And it says here using SQL map, we can run this. So SQL map is an automated database hacking tool. It's so good, in fact, that if you're doing an exam such as the Offensive Security Certified Professional, OSCP, SQL map is banned. You cannot use this at all. And so what you would have to do in this case is use this use this URL and use this data here, which shows how it's injectable, to do this manually. Or you can find something online which somebody has already done to hack into this specific Joomla version. Personally, I'm going to go with the SQL map because there's no reason for me not to at all. So we're going to go back down here. We're going to put this in. Hang on. There we go. And we're going to change the local host to this. So let me explain what this command does. It runs SQL map. It shows that we're expecting a URL, and this is that URL. Risk 3 is the highest risk level, meaning it's quite involved tests. The same with level 5, that's the highest level. Random agent changes our user agent each attempt to make it look like we're coming from Firefox and then Chrome and then Opera and then Windows and Linux and so on, just to stop any possible blocking that may, see if we can get around it. DBS means it's going to, if it manages to get in, it's going to list the available databases, and the parameter it is attacking is this list full ordering parameter. I'm going to add to this. I'm going to put in threads 10 because that means it runs 10 attacks at once. It's a bit quicker. And I'm going to put batch, which means if it asks me any yes or no questions, it just automatically chooses the default option without me having to do anything. So we're going to clear this list and run this. Okay, so it already says that list full ordering might be injectable and that the backend is MySQL, which, as we know from this, that looks to be correct. It's port running on the correct service. It looks like the backend is MySQL. Okay, this is good. So it's just a case of waiting at this point for this to complete. And it could take anywhere from 10 seconds to, it could be hours. It honestly could. So I'm going to stop the video at this point, and once this comes up with something, I will be back. Okay, I'm back briefly just to say that it's found that this is MySQL error-based parameter replace injectable, and then it says that it's also time-based parameter replace injectable. So we have a time-based attack and a error-based attack. If we look at this again here, you'll see that there is a error-based, which is already found. There's a time-based, which is already found. There's also here a Boolean-based. Isn't that fish stew? Oh, no, it's bouillon. Boolean-based attack, which is not yet found. So chances are it will find that before it finishes, but it's good because whatever's happening matches the data in this exploit. So good news, everybody. So once again, I'm going to pause this until we have more information. Okay, I'm back. So it says that this list full ordering is vulnerable. It also says that it did 2,742 requests, and it found the error-based and it found the time-based. It did not find the other, but it doesn't really matter. The operating system is Linux CentOS 7. The web server is running Apache 246 and PHP 5. And it has 5 database names: Performance Schema, MySQL, Joomla, Test, and Information Schema. So the Joomla database is likely going to have all the usernames and passwords of the website because it's a Joomla website, right? So we're going to run this again. It won't take us long this time. You'll see that this shows 3:09 p.m. and this was started at 2:42, so it took quite a while, like half an hour. This time it won't be anywhere near that. So all we're going to do this time is we're not going to list the databases. We are going to use capital D to show that we're going to use a database, the Joomla one, in fact, and we're going to do capital T to list the tables which are within this database. No, that doesn't look right. Sorry, we're just going to do tables. If you get stuck on syntax, you can do SQL map -H for help, and it gives you all this information. But by this point, I should know this well enough. It's now fetching all the tables from the Joomla database. And this shouldn't take too long. Depends how many tables there are. Okay, right, there are a few. Banners, assets, associations, content. Content is probably the Spider-Man robs bank article, etc. You know, we're looking for like users, perhaps. Users table is quite a good one because it will have the usernames and passwords and things that we need. So let's wait for this alphabetical order to get down to U, which could take ages actually. Whilst that's doing, let's see how our directory brute force is still going. I can't see myself looking through all these, to be honest. I might look through a few if we don't get anywhere else, but there's no harm in leaving it running for now. This is, it could be in session, actually. It could be in session. We've got messages. Users may have sent messages to each other. Users. Okay, we've got users here, right? Okay, nice. So. Then with tables, we have all this. So we're going to use the users table. So the database is Joomla. This time we're going to do T for table, which is going to be users. Is that right? By the looks of it. And then actually we're just going to put dump. We're going to dump the whole thing and see what happens. Okay. So it's fetching columns for this table in Joomla. It's unable to retrieve the column names. Oh no. That's not good. So it asked me, do you want to use a common column, try saying that fast, common column existence check, and it's defaulted to no. So what I'm going to do is get rid of batch and run again, and this time it will ask me again. I'm going to put yes. And it's going to use this word list it's a list of common columns, as you can see, and it's just going to try them one by one until it finds ones which exist. It's got ID, it's got name, it's got username. If we get username and password, we likely don't need anything else. So I'm kind of hoping, oh, I've got email address, could be useful. I'm kind of hoping that we can stop it before it has to go through over 2,500 things, because 1%, this is going to take a long time. Long time. Now, speaking of time, you can see that there is 1 hour 11 left on this box. If I try and add 1 hour, it won't work. It says you need to, so I need to wait for that to get down to an hour before I can extend. Sorry. As soon as that hits password, I'm going to try killing it and seeing if that works. If not, we're going to have to run it again and actually wait for the full 2,600. Joy. A lot of waiting around on this one. So I'm kind of hoping that password will come in relatively soon, because that's the one we need. Username and password, probably email will be the important ones. Oh, it's going now. Maybe it won't take that long. Maybe it will. Okay, there's password. Let's try killing it at this point. Brilliant. So we could actually kill it without having to wait for all that. That's fantastic. That's really good, actually. Good. So we'll take a copy of all of this. And put it in our notes. So what we have is super user was actually the name, not the username. The username is Jonah. And the password is encrypted here. Okay. So what I'm now going to do is encrypted pass. I'm going to try and crack this password. And to do that, we use a tool called John the Ripper. You can also use Hashcat or similar. But I'm going to do John the Ripper. We're going to do John. Actually, first I need to create a new file. So right, I'm just in the Daily Bugle directory, which I created earlier. If we look at this, there's nothing in it. It's empty. I'm going to create a new file called hash.txt. I'm going to paste in this password, save it, and then we do John, and we literally can just do hash.txt. The problem is it uses a relatively small word list to try and hack this password, and you can press any key and you'll see that it's trying these passwords at the minute, and now it's trying these ones, and so on. And it could take it could take a while. Actually, I say it's fairly small. It's mostly just like names and things. If the password's got numbers in it and it's got special characters, it could be more of a problem. So I'm going to kill this, and what we're going to do instead is give it a word list of our own. So our word list is where is it? Home, sabretooth, and desktop, streaming. So I'm copying this mainly from up here, as you can see. Sabretooth at Nethemba. And then it'll be under tools, word lists. And then the word list we could probably use, we'll use fast track. It's a very small list, but I find it's quite good. So we'll see how that one does. Oh, that one's already complete and it's not found the password. So I don't like doing this, but we're going to use the really big list, which could take forever, called Rock You. This could take a while. And I don't know how long a while is, because it's a massive list of words and characters and things. It's huge. And if the password is earlier on in the list, we'll get it in seconds. If it's at the end of the list, we'll get it in hours. If it's not in the list, the list will complete like Fast Track just did, and we won't get it. I don't know. So I'm going to stop this again, and if it comes up with something, I'll be back. Let's see at 1 hour 6 minutes if I can add an hour. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. So yeah, it's on 0% and it's trying these. Okay, I'll be back. It's not found it yet, but I'm back just because I realized that I forgot to explain how this actually works. So this hash, this hashed password, this one here, is actually a bcrypt hash. There are different hash types. There's like SHA of different varieties and MD whatever, and there's bcrypt and so on. So what happens is the John or Hashcat takes every single one of the words, and what it does, it encrypts it in the same way. So it comes out with a string which is like this, and then it matches it against the provided password. If it's a direct match, then it means that the same word which was hashed is the same word that was also hashed for the password. If it doesn't match, it moves on to the next word. So that's the way it works, really. Also, whilst I'm here, it makes sense now. Let's try this again. Nah, it's very, very strict on that 1 hour, isn't it? Okay. Right, I'll leave it in that case, and I'll be back again soon. Okay, I'm back. This apparently completed in 15 minutes, but it's been longer because I figured it'd be a good time to make a few phone calls and make a cup of tea, etc. Firstly, our directory scan is complete. I'm not going to note any of this down yet. I mean, look at it. I may go through that if I need to, but that's last resort, quite honestly. So in 15 minutes and 14 seconds, we have the password Spider-Man123, which kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Daily Bugle and Spider-Man robs bank, etc. That is looking, to be a very good password candidate. So if we have Jonah, oh yeah, Jonah Jameson, isn't it? Spider-Man123 as a username and password. First thing we're going to do is finally add an hour to this. So we are now 1 hour 45 remaining, which is good, because if it expires, you need to restart the system, and then you get a different IP address, and all your progress is still, I mean, in this case, the same password, and that would still work, but it can just get really awkward. So we will try the admin directory, admin login, and we're going to go Jonah, Spider-Man123. Oh man, is something wrong with that, or is that just me? Let's make sure that it's in right by going reveal password. Okay, that was me being an idiot. We're absolutely in. Okay. Gives access to the admin panel. Lovely. Okay, so now we have admin access to this web app here. We've got like system and users and so on. What it is, I mean, system information could be useful. It gives us the database version and Apache and Joomla 370. We know all this, right? So maybe not useful. Maybe not so useful. Okay. Users, we know there's only one user because there's only one user in the database. Content, components, extensions. Okay. So what do we do here? How do we gain access to the system which this website is running on? One thing that I didn't explain at the beginning is that the goal of this is to hack into a system and gain access to a text file which contains a flag which you give to the system. And then you will need to escalate privilege to either admin or root or some sort of power user in order to get a second flag, and that is the end of, because you pretty much own the machine then, so that's the end of everything. So what we're going to do is go back to here. Now what I like to do in I don't think I've done this in Joomla before, but I've certainly done it in WordPress, is go to the like templates, and these are like the style of the site, the different templates and so on. ProStar is currently default, so let's mess with this one just because I don't want to mess with the one which we're already using. So I don't know, man. Edit style. I don't know how to do this here. Okay, let's have a look at the one currently in use, ProStar. Okay. So we can save it, but I've not changed anything as such. Details. Okay. I truly don't have a clue how to do that. I've not done this before. I've not done this before on, oh, this is styles, maybe templates. I've not done this before on Joomla. Oh, here we go. So, we don't want to mess with the styles, we want to mess with the templates. There we go, this is what we need. So, we can do a template preview, and what that does, it loads the main template page. You can see that your home, this is what we see when we get to the website, right? This is the main index.php page, and just to prove that, we can go to here /index. Is it PHP or HTML or something .php, right? This is the main index.php. If we edit this index.php, where is it? Here. This is the code of the index page. If we change that to code which will connect back to us, this is how we do this. This is how we do it. Right. First, I need my own IP address, which is on the Try Hack Me server. Oh, Windows. What's going on? Linux. There we go. I've not used Windows in years, and yet I use the Windows command instead of the Linux command. Okay, so ton0. This is my address on the Try Hack Me server. So I'm going to put here local IP is this. So I'm going to open what's known as a reverse shell. Nano shells PHP reverse shell.php. This is the one. So this code here, if it's run, it will cause the website to connect back to me. All I need to do is put in my current IP address and the port on my machine which I'd like it to connect to. We already know about ports from the port scan, right? So my IP address is this. Make sure it's currently selected. Okay, that's actually the same IP that was already there because I used this when I was playing around with the introduction room. So that's quite good. Port 1234. Okay, that's quite nice as well. So I create, let's clear this. I create a listener. So I'm using netcat for this. I'm going to listen, make it verbose so it gives me information. And the port number I'm going to use is 1234. And that is now listening for any connection back. Okay, one thing I should do before I run this is I'm just going to cat, which is to print out, there we go, that file that I just edited. Now it's listening, so I can select this file here, all of it, from PHP all the way down to where it ends. So if this code is run, it should connect back to my listener down here. And the way to see if this is going to work or not is to put that there and to put this here. Okay, so we edit this and save it if we can. And now what we're going to do is we are going to preview the template, which should load my code. So as soon as I tap this, take a look down here, and it should connect back. There we go. We are connected here, right? And that's it. We are now on the system. We are now on the system. We can run who am I, and we are the Apache user. Now, the Apache user has very few rights on the system. Very, very few. As an example, if I go to the home directory and look at what users are on the system, we see there's a user called J. Jameson. And if we try to go into J. Jameson's directory, we get permission denied because we've got no rights at all. So although we're on here, we're not really doing very well at this point. Okay, so I'm going to go to a directory which is fully writable, which is temporary directory. There's nothing in there at the minute. I can create a file called moo, oh, there's no M there, moo, and that was created. I can list the files in the directory and you'll see that my file was created. So we have rights to create files here. What I want to do is upload a file from my local machine to the target, which is going to help us out. So I'm going to go into privilege escalation, scripts. A good one here will be, because we're on Linux, aren't we? So which one should we use? Linpies. Linux. We could use the Linux proof checker. We'll use Linpies. So I need to create a server. I'm going to use Python for this. We're going to use the HTTP server. And that's running on port 8000, as you can see, right? So now the whole contents of this directory is available, and it's just a case of downloading it. We're going to wget, and we're going to grab it from my server. What is my IP address? And that was on port 8000. And the file we are after is linpeas.sh. So we're going to upload it. Brilliant, right? Excellent. And you can see here that I connected to get Linpies. So that worked quite nicely. We're going to change the mode to executable, because without that, well, I'll show you what happens if we try and run this file. Linpeas.sh, permission denied. So we need to make it executable first by changing the mode to +X, which is executable. And now if we try and run it, it's fine. And what Linpeas does, it checks the full system based on the user that we're running as, to see what it's got access to, what issues may be present, anything which can help us out really. So I'm just going to wait for this on the side to stop moving, because it means that the program's finished. Or near enough. Okay, so let's start looking. So a lot of this will mean absolutely nothing unless you know what you're looking for. I know what I'm looking for. So, well, I don't specifically, but I know roughly the sort of things to look for is what I'm saying. So it suggests exploits which you can find on exploit.db, as you can see, like Dirty Cow and Dirty Cow 2 and so on. Some of these might be useful. I tend to use these as a last resort. There's normally more elegant ways in. Okay. Okay, there's nothing here which is standing out at the moment. Yeah, you're able to read this with experience. If you don't have the experience, it's just going to look like nothing, but eventually you start honing in. The colours really help to let you know if something's important or not. As it says at the top here, if you see something which is red and yellow, definitely look into that. If you see something that's red, look into that. Anything else doesn't really matter as such. So let's keep looking. Let's keep looking. Network information, not important. User information. We know of Jonah Jameson, right? is a user on the system, and other than that, root is the only other user, I think, like main users. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep looking. Just keep looking. So now it's looking for words like database and so on. But nothing there looks important. Got a lot of config files which we can look through. Maybe we've got the word password coming up now and again, but nothing important as such. We keep looking, and hopefully something in here will help. If not, then we need to obviously start thinking in different ways. Oh, there's my moo file, which I just created. It's interesting files created in the last 5 minutes. Oh, my file's interesting. Yay. We have mailboxes, which may or may not have mail in them. Got a few databases files here. We've got, oh, look at this. Searching passwords in config file, and it has a password here. That looks like quite a complex password as well. That's not one which you'll be able to run a word list on. Okay, so let's make a note of this. Limpys shows... Oh, I've not actually written my steps here. So edit template with reverse PHP shell and preview template to gain access as Apache. There we go. Interesting that this file here, this password here. Let's make a note of this password. See, I wonder if, let's just have another look at this. Okay, let's keep looking. It's still checking now, it's still doing more things. What if we go to SSH Jonah at, what is the IP address that we are currently attacking? 10.10.172.183. 10.10.172.183. And the password we use is the one that we just copied. Guess not. Always worth double checking these things. Oh, the username isn't Jonah, is it? It's J. Jameson. But still, oh, okay, that let us in. That actually let us in. So we actually used SSH with James Jameson and that password, and now we've got proper access to the system as the J. Jameson user, not Apache. Brilliant. Okay. Wow. Okay, this is good. This is great, because now what we can do is we can pretty much kill this. We don't need that running. We can forget about that. It's not important anymore. And that's it. We are actually in. And because we're in J. Jameson's directory, we can read this user.txt. And that's our first flag. That is our user flag right there. Bang. Brilliant. So now we've got regular user. What we need to do now is elevate to root. So what we could do is we could go to temp. And we don't have to go to temp, but we, run again limpys, and it runs it as our current user. Oh, it's gone. So because it's a temporary file, it's actually been deleted. Oh man. So we could upload it again, but let's not. The first thing we should do when we get any user is sudo, because if we're allowed to use sudo, then it means we can run things as administrators, and we're going to use L to list any sudo rights. Oh, and in this case, it actually comes out right. Actually comes out fine. This is the first thing I do when I get access to any user, sudo L. Matching entries, but here user James Jameson may run the following commands without a password. It allows us to run user bin yum. So the yum application we can run as admin. In this case, the best thing to do is go to GTFO bins. That doesn't matter anymore. That doesn't matter anymore either, or that. Go to GTFO bins here. It's a curated list of Unix binaries that can be used to bypass local security restrictions. So we're going to see if yum exists on this list, which it does, and sudo is the access we've got with it. So all we actually have to do is apparently run this code, and it will give us admin or root access. Before I run this code, let's figure out how that's where FPM comes in. Interesting. Let's figure out what this code does. So ID, okay. We're creating a new RPM package. RPM Red Hat Package Manager files are used on CentOS, which we know it's used on Red Hat, obviously, but it's used on CentOS. We know this is CentOS 7. That's what it said in the SQL map. And what it's doing, it's echoing the ID. Now, if we run ID at the minute, it shows that we are J. Jameson. And so it's running that command and it's storing it. Okay. And we can install our package. And then what happens? This is creating a plugin for our package. Import OS, import yum, interactive, hook conduit. Okay, so this somehow elevates our privilege, and I can't even pretend to fully understand how at the moment without studying it. And then it runs a new shell as the root user, or at least it will do. And then when we do well, it runs a shell as whatever user is currently running it. Does that make sense? So this is a shell that we're in now, and we could do bin bash, and this is yet another shell here, and then we can exit that, and we're back to our original shell. It's just like nested. Don't worry about shells if you don't know about it. I mean, it's something you can research. So whichever user we're currently running as, it creates a new shell, and then because we're using sudo, we're running it as the admin. So it should create us a new shell as the admin, which gives us admin or root access. Right, I roughly get it. So this is what we need to run on our local machine, and I'm not entirely sure this is going to work, I'll be honest with you, because I don't know if FPM exists on my machine. It might do. One way to find out. Let's run this code. Let's go to the Daily Bugle box. Okay, so FPM does exist, but RPM build does not. Right, so if you come across an error where you've not got something needed, the best thing to do is hit Google. We're going to go RPM build, and then my operation system, which is Linux Mint. That's my preference. Blimey. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go FPM, sorry, RPM build, because these are linked, right? So there's FPM documentation. I'm not sure if that's important. So we've got FPM on our system. So RPM build needs as well. How do we install RPM build on this version of Linux? Via this, apparently. So let's go sudo, because I need to run this command as an admin. Look, on my local machine, if I try and run this not as an admin, whoops, you'll see that it says that it's locked. Are you root? No, I'm not. I'm not. So I'll run it as an admin, and now it should allow it. So hopefully I'll be able to install this. Oh, it's already installed, apparently. Okay, so if it's already installed, then why does this not work? That works. Okay, and that one doesn't. Right, okay, fine. So we're having trouble because I'm using Linux Mint. We're having trouble running this. If you're using something like Kali or Red Hat or Fedora or something like that, then it'll be much easier. And it doesn't matter how many times I run it, it's never going to work. So what I would do in this case is I would Google the error a bit more, figure out how to get RPM build working on my system. But also, there's another way of doing this, and I'm going to have to stop in a minute and then come back later because I get a really bad headache. And that is to actually use a system which already has it installed. Let's see if I can do that right now. So I'm already connected to the system, but I can also use the attack box instead of using this OpenVPN here. Let's actually kill this a second. I can actually use the attack box. And see if that has it installed, because if so, it's going to make everything much nicer. It's going to make everything much nicer, right? That might take a while to start, so I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. The attack box didn't work, it wasn't installed, but I've just realized that I could just install the RPM package, and that should have RPM build in it, I would hope. So I've just done sudo apt-get install. You can see I've tried installing it through snap and tried installing it, right? So I've tried a few things. So if I try RPM build, I'm kind of hoping that this time, okay, it does something. It exists at least. Okay, so let's try this code again. Sometimes it's just a case of figuring out, I said about RPM and then RPM tools. I would have tried all three of those. I just didn't realize it was available on Linux Mint. It apparently is. Let's try this code again. Oh, that worked that time. That actually worked that time. Brilliant. So the created package exists. So after installing RPM and FPM, it was really as simple as that. See, sometimes even the best of us, it hits us just like that. If we look in here now, we'll see that we have this file, which we need to local install it. Okay, but not here. We need to local install it on the target. So I've connected back to this. We've obviously, have we still got access to this? We have. Brilliant. Good. So let's go to our home directory. We're back in J. Jameson's directory. Let's clear this as well. Fantastic. Okay, the first thing we need to do is to get that file to the system. So I'm going to kill my previous web server and run it again, but in the Daily Bugle directory, so we can get this file. Okay. So we're going to run this again. What am I doing? Where are we? We're here. Okay. Don't mind me. There we go. There's our HTTP server. So we're going to wget HTTP. Our local address is hopefully still, I should check it because I've disconnected and reconnected. So it could have changed. I doubt it. No, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. Okay. So yeah, that didn't take me too long, at least, to get to that point. I wasn't waiting for ages to figure it out. Let's go 8,000. Just trying a few things really. Just research, you'll find it. And the file we are grabbing this time is this file here from my server. Brilliant, that works. Once again, we will make it executable. I don't know if we need to, but we have. And what we're now going to do is try to install using sudo yum. We know that we can use yum as the admin by doing sudo. And that, it says complete. It's now installed. This is our malicious package. So on the server, wget the file, then there we go. So now it hopefully is just the case of doing the rest of these. Let's do it a block at a time. Let's just do it a block at a time. Seems to have worked. Next block. No errors, that's good. Next block. No errors, that's good. Okay, and then finally we can run this. Okay, and this hash symbol here shows that we are actually now the root user. Okay, so I forgot to make notes of all this, so let me just copy all of this into here. We're going to do that, followed by, well, all of this. And then finally we run this and we get who am I, roots. We are now the admin. This is the end. We could do cat the file which is in the root directory, root.txt. there it is. There we go, that's the one. And that is the very, very last. Oh, so we had all this here actually. Fair enough. Okay, I might as well just copy it all from here then. Just easier. There we go. And we can see exactly what happens. Good. We've now got the root thing. So now let's finish this box. Let's finish this box. We're done. We just need to fill in all of this stuff. Who robbed the bank? We know for a start that was Spider-Man. It said that at the beginning. What is the Joomla version? We know that was 370. What is Jonah's correct password? That was Spider-Man123. What is the user flag? Good question. Let's take a look. There it is, from user.txt. That is the user flag. What is the root flag? That one's right at the bottom, to show that we've got admin access. And then finally, the credits. Found another way to compromise the machine. Or you want to assist, keep it on the forum. That's it, done. We're complete. We are finished. And that is it. We've earned points. Brilliant. Okay, lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. So we have now completed this. We are going to terminate the system. Always clean up afterwards. Terminate the system. We are going to leave the room. And now when we go back to our dashboard, we will see here that we got some points today. Recently, we've done Daily Bugle, 100%. And we now have some points here. We are one room complete, one major room completed. Okay. And there we have it. Right, so thank you for joining me for this walkthrough of Daily Bugle. What do I think of the system? There was a lot of waiting around. There was a lot of scanning and waiting and SQL map and things and waiting and word lists and waiting. It was okay. It was fine. It was fine. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad either. So maybe next time we'll find one which is a little bit more fun. Who knows? Anyway, thank you for joining me. I'm Sabretooth at Nethemba.com, where we care about your security. Please visit Nethemba.com for all your pen testing needs. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.